what this means.
Okay, so what I'm showing you here is there are 12 pins. The first 4 on the left are the Y motor. The next 4, which are the middle 4, are the R motor. And the last ones are the X motor. So what I did was I took the 4 from the middle, which was the R wire. So again, what we have here is the R wire connecting the R motor, utilizing the different pins on the circuit board. So if the pins on the circuit board are the issue, this should work. And I put it on the first 4 pins, which is the Y connector. So what in this first take, I'm using the R cable attached to the Y pins, and that does not work.
Really not working. And those
Pins.
are on the first.
Does not work. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put the Y cable onto the R pins. So I'm just switching, I'm just swapping them. So here we go. So we have the R cable is on the Y pins. Now the Y cable is going on the R pins. So if the R pins are bad, or the circuit board is bad in the R area, this wouldn't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test 2 things. I'm going to test an existing known good motor, which is hooked up to the belt, and then we're going to test that same motor that just didn't work. So right there is the Y connector. And right now that's running to the R pins. So I have to tell the machine to move the R motor, even though it's really the Y motor. So now we're testing the pins, the middle 4 pins. And right now the wire is hooked up to the belt there, and you can see it's moving.
And it works.
So that worked. Now to truly make sure it works, we're going to use that same motor right up there. The same motor that didn't work a second ago, coming from the good Y leads on the circuit board, and using the bad, quote-unquote bad wire. And when I say bad wire, that's what I'm thinking. So we'll clip it in, and now we're going to push the button, and if it works, which it is,
and it works fine.
So that just
so it's got to be the wire.
That the middle 4 pins are fine when they're hooked up with a different wire than the R wire. So the board, all of the pins on the board seem to be okay. It's just that the pins that are connected to a motor with the R wire doesn't work on the motor. So it's got to be that wire.
How could a wire be messed up? It's just wires.
Look at this. So these grooves, this side of it that's black, was melted and flat. And it was making it hit against that cog in there. And it was making it very difficult for this to turn. So I took a file and I filed the grooves. First I tried heat. That didn't work too well. Then I tried a knife. Ultimately I settled on a file. And I just continued from one side to the other. They're like little V valleys. And now it turns, there's not even any grease on here. It turns really smoothly. I could barely turn it with 2 fingers before, or with my hand before. So that might have something to do with the fact that the motor wasn't spinning too easily. I'll work on it a little bit more, but that's crazy. This was melted.
I think the gear comes out anyway. We'll see. Here we go. Make sure there's no dirt in here. There we go. There we go, much better. All right. I don't know if you can see that. But whatever it was getting hung up on, it's not anymore. So pardon this video again with my cell phone. This is the wire that I made. We're gonna see if it works. I bought like 500 feet of this for 50 bucks. That's all I could find. Places like Home Depot don't have this. I had to get it on Amazon. It's 4 leads, you know, four conductor, and it's shielded, which is the same thing as the existing cable. I put some shrink wrap around here to keep these together, even though I didn't have to. These plugs I made myself. You can buy these on Amazon. They're called, what are they called? DuPont connectors. The pitch is how far between each of these pins, and this is actually standard. I actually measured on the connector on the motor, and it was 2.54 millimeters. I got about 2.5, and I saw that there was one that was 2.54, so I guess that it's this size, standard size. So you get these little plastic housings, you get some pins, and you get some females also, which is the other side here. So this side is going to go into the circuit board. This side is going to plug into the motor. Now it doesn't lock. That's not good, but it's not going to come off. And besides not locking, it's also not polarized. So in other words, you could put it on backwards by mistake. That's why I took a little gray Sharpie and I colored the blue side on this end. I colored the same blue side on the female end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the Panorex machine. I'm going to look and see the existing wire that's there now. Let's suppose, for argument's sake, on the right hand side it's brown. So I'll plug it in like this with the blue on the right, and then I'll make sure that it goes on the female, on the other side, the male connector. Whatever's going into the brown end on the motor, I'll put the same blue end into the motor there. Hope I'm being clear, and let's see how this works. So this is actually pretty easy to make. The most expensive thing was the crimper. It was like 20 bucks. The other wire. Let's see if it works. That's one. Oh. Let's try to reset it and see what happens. Oh, that's not. It's reset. Huh. All right, let me try it again. I don't know. I don't know if it's a wire. All right. Let me turn this off, and I'll turn the machine off, run the wire in there, and we'll see.